What is going on, guys? Welcome to 2024 and welcome to my channel. My name is Dan Ways. I'm a content creator based out of Chicago. I have a full-time career as a photographer, and I'm honestly just ready to get going with this year. One of my goals for this year is to grow this channel and to really help out creators who are young and early on in their journey, basically me helping my younger self. So what I want to do on here is really talk about myself a little bit more and open up and talk about the process and bring you kind of behind the curtain of what I do for my living and also what a lot of my friends and colleagues do for work or everything with the No Names podcast, which is the podcast that I run just by myself. And I bop around and I have guests on to talk about what they're doing in their career and what's honestly helped them build a community from having no name in their respective industry to becoming a thought leader or someone that is really just crushing the game that I think brings value to people looking to build really just their own community and become someone who can help others do the same. So the reason I really wanted to make this video, and I'm sure you can judge by the title, is it's an office tour. And I really wanted to bring you behind the curtain and kind of show you where the magic happens for me as a photographer, a videographer, just kind of what my space looks like. And it's really just the first step in showing you all what my setup looks like and kind of how I built it out to show my personality and to also really just have a cool place to hang out and film. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I'm not gonna lie, turning the camera around is still something that's relatively new to me. I have made vlogs in the past, but it never really felt like, I kind of put everything into YouTube. I just kind of made one vlog a year, and honestly, that's been the running joke with me and my friends, especially my boy Johnny. He has been the huge kick in the ass that I really needed in the last year, and I feel like I grew a lot in 23, but my goal, like I mentioned earlier, for 24 is to really grow this YouTube channel and essentially help my younger self and anyone who might be wanting to do the same or build a name for themselves, whatever it is. And how I'm going to do this is flipping around the camera and talking and really just kind of diving into what my life looks like and, like I said, what my office looks like. So what we have here is actually a desk inspired by my boy Johnny, who I mentioned earlier, but it started with two butcher block tabletops from Home Depot. These are great, honestly, just to create your own desk because it is kind of customizable. Below the desk, we really have two of these cube shelves from Target, and I have those in the corner. They are honestly just really great for storage, but they also provide just a stable base. Below that, as you can tell, is very jerry-rigged. We have two Stanley sawhorses from Home Depot, and honestly, with the floor in my apartment, it's really just not level. So I have to put some really thick cardboard under the desk and in between that and the sawhorses, just so it's a little bit level. So right now my desk is actually kind of tilted. So drives me nuts, but can't really do anything else besides that. So as far as my actual editing and workflow setup goes, I have the 16-inch M2 MacBook Pro. With that, it's 32 gigs of unified and a terabyte of storage. Definitely need that extra storage, even though I am editing off of these T7 SSDs, which if you're dealing with anything that has a lot of raw files, anything that's huge, like for a concert, I'm going through 1,000 to 2,000 raw photos, and that will just bog down your memory on your laptop. So what these do is actually just act as an external storage device. Just think, for those who are new, just think of a giant flash drive. That's it. And then attached, I've actually just been running these. These are some old Sony headphones, the MDR 7506. I really just had those because they're the only corded ones that I had in my apartment. And I almost sometimes get a delay when I'm editing with my AirPods connected to this. So what I do is really just plug in with those and work great for music and sound design and everything like that. So still on the desk is actually in the corner, and this is just some memorabilia or some cool things that I think have really played a part in my career. More you'll notice because it's mostly Ghost. But as I mentioned earlier, I am a full-time photographer, so I have a job at Ghost, and this is just some stuff I've kind of collected along the way. This right here was actually from the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle collab that we did, which was just super cool. I thought the pizza box that we did was a sick idea. Behind this, we actually have a shoebox PR kit that we did when we launched Energy. So basically what it is Ghost is actually really heavily influenced by sneaker culture. So it makes sense at the root of our core to have PR boxes that really reflect that. So next to it, shout out to my boy Ed. He does a lot of really cool woodworking stuff. So he did this as actually a surprise to me. I didn't know he was doing this. It's actually made from a chunk of the butcher block tabletop, which was sick. This is actually a gift from Holden, who also works at Ghost. He was the one that brought me in originally. It's a Virgil Abloh coffee table book, and it's sitting on my desk right now because it's really cool, but I also just don't have a coffee table. And if you notice right here, we have the Rode Wireless Go 2 mics. And as I mentioned at the start of the video, I have a podcast. It's called the No Names Podcast, and it's very run and gun. I don't have a dedicated setup, so it's really just taking those mics and this camera and setting it up on a tripod and just ripping it. It's basically having conversations with like-minded people, but it's if you went and got coffee with a friend and just had those conversations and we're just recording it. So as we kind of move on, you'll see these floating shelves, which I got from Menards, I believe. They're really cool. I think it just kind of adds like a leveled up, no pun intended, feel to the office. And I think it just looks cool. And you can see a lot more of my personality here as well. This is my plant Pearl. She does kind of make appearances from time to time. Up here, all the Ghost Energy cans are from different festivals and cool collabs that we've done. And there's so many more that I could put up there, but I really just like those four. I thought they were pretty cool. So going down to the second one, you'll see is I am a huge St. Louis Blues fan. So that is actually from when they won the Stanley Cup. So this koozie right back here is actually older than me. My mom had it when she lived in St. Louis, and it's just a cool memento that kind of travels with me. And I think if I ever lose it, she will probably disown me. Not to pass these up, but these are just some cool passes that I've been fortunate enough to be a part of a media crew for a couple of shows this year. One of them, the first one, is my boy James, also known as Align by his stage name, his artist name. He opened up for Big Gigantic at Red Rocks. And for those of you who know, you know, Red Rocks is a bucket list venue, not only to go to, but to shoot at as a concert photographer, videographer, or to play at as a musician. So yeah, I'm going to have that hanging up. So the other one is from the Quinn 92 Louis the Child show that I recently shot in December. That was probably my favorite show, if not one of my top shows all year. It was really cool. That was my first time being kind of in that space, just me. That was kind of my peak shooting for the year. I just was very fortunate to be in that position, and you know, hopefully that turns into more, and I'm able to continue to do more concert photo video this year, because it is truly something that I'm passionate about, and I really want to continue to expand on that. So back to the shelf, I actually do have my first camera that I ever got is the GoPro Hero 3 Black. This is the first camera I bought back in high school, and it was something that really kind of kickstarted my photo video career. It didn't seem like much at the time, and I have a video kind of talking about the upgrade that I did have to the GoPro Hero 12 Black. And I'll link it below, but it really is me talking about my creative journey and kind of why buying the GoPro Hero Black was such a big deal for me. So last but not least, I have the Kith Spider-Man deck. It is just a really cool piece that I have in the office. Just something that, you know, I really like Kith and I really like Spider-Man. I thought it was the best of both worlds. Eventually I want to hang it up, just right now don't have the space for it. Right next to it, I have my Brevity camera bag. This thing is more or less what I use when I go to concerts, photo shoots. It's just something that's pretty light. I don't necessarily travel with it all too much, just because when I travel with a lot of stuff. I really just pack it in. I do have a bigger bag that I normally travel with, and it fits under carry-on seats and planes. And trust me, I've been through the ringer on that one. So definitely recommend the Brevity bag if you're not going to travel a ton with it or you travel light. But if you're just going to photo shoots and stuff like that, great bag, definitely would do it. So next thing is these Mount Dog lights. Honestly, these were probably the cheapest lights that I could find on Amazon about 3-4 years ago. I've been using them for the better part of that time, and it was really just something that I needed lights so badly that I was just looking for the cheapest thing that turned off and on and had a softbox. So that's what we use. But as you can see behind me, I actually have one of my favorite, if not my favorite piece in the office, which I'll explain in a second. This is a gallery wall of a lot of work that I've done. It seems like a previous life. I don't really shoot stuff like this anymore, but when I was freelancing and early on in my photography career, I really did a lot of landscape and urban type shots. So these are a lot of shots of mine that my girlfriend printed out for one of my birthdays. If you're a photographer, print your work. Just do it. It is one of the coolest things that you can do and display it. And it's always a good talking point, but it will always motivate you to look back and see not only how far you've come, but where you started. When I'm sitting here and I'm looking up at the wall or I'm just editing, it is always just a good reminder of kind of how far I've come as a photographer and a videographer and how my career has really developed. So with that being said, that is a majority of my office, most of the things that I think you guys would find cool. Just a little bit about me, just a little bit about where I work, do a lot of my editing, do a lot of the fun stuff that, well, not always some of the fun stuff. There's a lot of late nights I go down here. Trust me, those late nights after shows are brutal sometimes, but the grind is something that you embrace and you love, and I truly love it. And I want you guys to find a little bit more out about me this year, and I felt like this was the biggest part. So if you enjoyed this video, I'll leave a link to mostly everything that I can down below. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share with a friend, comment, like, subscribe, do everything that you can to help me out. And if you want to see more of this, or you have some things that you want to learn more about me, drop it down below, let me know, and I look forward to seeing you in future videos. Peace.